everyone, and welcome back. And I have a very interesting list that I came up with in terms of playing Azorius artifacts, but I am kind of sick of just being a free lunch for mono red and Boros, so I went ahead and turned this into a Esper list in which I added black pretty much strictly for removal. We can argue all day on what removal is best and what hits the most, but my argument is that mono black or black spells in general have the best removal in terms of standard gameplay right now. Kind of the ongoing theme with black, like Fatal Push is probably the best spell in terms of Pioneer in terms of removal, and we find the same kind of condition here in standard as well. But alongside of that, we have marches to go with this removal. We have Unstable Glyph Bridge to act as board wipes as well, and a Farewell to slide in there as kind of a catch-up card or a catch-all card where we just let our opponent commit to the board and then we clean it all up at once, especially if they're being a little bit greedy. Some of those bigger decks will do that whenever they're going super wide. But also we have 2 pest control. I recommend maybe crafting 1 if you want to try this card out. Obviously, mythics are a hot commodity when it comes to the standard format right now, so you could definitely try out 1 and fit in a 4th copy or a 3rd copy of something anywhere else. As you can see, the only 4 of I play in this entire deck is Synthesizer, and you might be like, oh, let's look at the lands. I don't even play 4 of in any land. It's all over the place. My lands are books. So what are we trying to do? If you haven't seen it yet, or maybe it's died off before you kind of been paying attention to standard format, Simulacrum Synthesizer, an all-star in Eternal formats, but also here in standard sometimes whenever the mood's right. But when it enters the battlefield, we scry to kind of a good part, not that relevant. Whenever another artifact with mana value 3 or greater enters the battlefield, we make a construct that gets a 1/1 for each artifact we control. Now, the things that trigger it seem light because we are adding black and playing a lot of removal in here, but we actually have quite a lot of artifacts counting itself that actually trigger it, and along with the braided net and the unstable glyph bridge, these can be crafted in order to re-enter the battlefield, triggering our synthesizers again, and we can use 3 steps ahead to either copy any of these artifacts, causing them to re-enter the battlefield and make another construct. So realistically, when it comes to putting a synthesizer in play and getting it to trigger, I have not yet run into any problems of not being able to make enough constructs. It's always been enough, but the best part about it, because we are adding this removal, most of the time we just clear the way for our constructs anyway, and the 4 that we have in play that are 9/9s or 10/10s are enough to get the job done. So outside of that, I mean, we're just going to go ahead and hop into the games. I hope the deck list can kind of explain itself as we go throughout the matches, and you can kind of see the value that shows up today in adding the Go for the Throats, the Long Goodbye, Pest Control, and Cut Downs into the deck, along with kind of stalling out our game plan till we get to the later steps of the game and winning from there. So outside of that, hope you all enjoy my content. If you do, please be sure to subscribe. Truly helps out the channel. I've been getting a ton of subs lately, which I truly do appreciate, and it makes it a lot easier, honestly, when the number is going up, because then I know I'm doing stuff right. So outside of that, let's go ahead and dive into the games, and I hope you all enjoy them. I mean, yeah, right? Like, definitely just like latch on to this hand, keep it. We have a March if we need it. We got Foundry into Synthesizer plus other Synthesizer, which seems pretty good. Like, only fear right here, I guess, is that it's control. And that's what it seems like it is. I'm going to hide the black mana for now. Just fire off the Foundry. And then if we do draw a white source, yeah. Oh, Beanstalk comes in. Very sick. So we could get hit with a Binding. But I'm going to fire off the Synthesizer, and then maybe we'll get set up pretty well. I mean, I guess, right? Why not? The only problem is Leyline Binding will be tough, but so far, the mana's not necessarily there. They have 3 colors, so it's 3 mana? Good work? Yeah, sure. Fine by me, I guess. What about another one? I'm gonna let both those lands go to the bottom. We're looking for a My Stone, Weak Stone, or something to kind of get our card advantage back. I would love to march this, but it's just not in the cards right now, I don't think. Archangel, just straight up Sure. Might stone, weak stone. Hey, I ask and I'll receive, I guess. Do I allow this? They missed a land drop, right? Or am I faded? I'm faded, I think. I think they played a forest. Yeah, I feel like I'm wrong. I feel like I'm lying. I guess I just want to play synthesizer here. I'm gonna surveil or scry to make my little construct here. Go for the throat seems pretty good. Vault also seems pretty good. I think I'm okay with either of these or both of these. And while they're tapped out, I'm just popping this up to Beanstalk. I think I'm gonna try to take away as much card advantage as I can. I don't really care about this 3-4 hitting me. They're not going to be able to kick and take it out. Sunfall is possible. I don't think they'll play a farewell, even though they could. This is also fine. Like, sure, they shuffle away my stuff, but they're using 2 mana this turn to do that. They got rid of a land and a go for the throat, which I have an answer for this, but most likely I'm kind of just looking to draw, especially on that draw. That's actually huge. Have it immortalized, dude. Wow. No? Draw 2 cards? Who's in combat? Let's bonk him first. Yeah? This one? I know this could have made him bigger, but I wanted, if they had something to do, I wanted them to do it. Not wait, you know? Sunfall's going to be pretty solid for him. This taps a non-land source. Nope. Down. I was like, it's Sunfall to populate like some amount of board wipe. I assumed it was going to be Sunfall, but is what it is. We can kind of keep pace with Natraxa. I would have loved to hit a land there, but we just miss. Now I can Mightstone, Weakstone. All right, I can sack this, bring back Synthesizer, then craft this with the Power Stone I make here, I guess. I have to exile 5, I believe, right? It like works a little bit weird. If I want to do that. Do this. Let's take a little look. Maybe they'll besage you again. Both of those can definitely go away. Let's Thran Spider. Let's make our Power Stone token. And then honestly, because their plan is to play an attraction, that's kind of all they have. Am I not just better off holding this and then flipping it next turn if needed? Right? I think so. Even if they play land herd migration, like, I'm swinging big. I'll tap one of them, tap a second one, attack out, and they kind of have to block. I can always flip it after. Leyline Binding. Sure. Sure. Uh-huh. My turn. I feel like there has to be an Emperor here. So my plan instead is I'm going to bring this up. Or they have some amount of removal, obviously. Sure. Attack here. We're already in combat, so it's not like I have a whole lot of choices. I could have drawn, I guess. And maybe I would have saw if I had something. But I don't think I play like anything at flash speed here. Exile this map. Okay. Now triggers, make another construct. We call it a day. Wow, playing the herd migration instead of potentially just jamming it next turn. Well, I guess they have to, right? Because they can't answer this, maybe. They thin. Maybe board wipe. If they board wipe, I in response braided net, and I draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. Because I believe it's 4 mana, and I had exactly that amount. Yeah, because of this, and then 4. So then, if they board wiped here, the turn looked like me put 8 cards in my hand, figure out lethal some way, I would imagine, but maybe not. Who knows? We take game 1. Very sick. First, I mean, it's Foundry and the Synthesizer. Hopefully that's good enough. Probably mono red. Maybe it won't be. Oh, it's this deck. We're so slow against this deck. Kind of tough. I'm going to play my Esper land. We kind of just have to have the counter spell or like the removal for the analyst, I guess. Go for double green fetch, which is a little interesting. But because normally you see at least them grab 2 different colors right away. Nissa, sure. I don't really have an answer to Nissa per se. But I can try. I can try my little bestest. Do this. Let's do this. Pest control on that land, pretty bad. Pest control not looking like it's going to do a lot here. They can play... I don't think they have a way to do analyst here. Just green, red, no blue yet, but they make the blue. I'll be able to remove this Nissa because negate's not looking available unless they play something like a Spelunking. Oh, World Soul Rage is pretty good. Taking a blue off World Soul Rage there is a little funny, but there's Analyst. Now it's like, do we get rid of Analyst or do we get rid of Nissa? It's kind of an awkward call, but I think it has to be Analyst. It's normally always Analyst. How many of these they have? They have 2. Especially if they, I guess, reveal more. But then it's like, if they play a land, they trigger it again. A Memory Delusion instead, protecting the Analyst, playing tight. Still have yet to get a blue land, but their 2 fetches that they've played haven't been able to get a blue land, so it's not like it's entirely their fault. Can I do both of these? I can, but I have to do it with Might Stone, Weak Stone first. I'm gonna get rid of this, make a 5/5, and then I'm going to play this. So I'm gonna make another 5/5. I'm gonna scry 2. Rated net seems pretty cool, I guess, just because it triggers, and then I should be able to craft with it here, I think. Analyst, sure. You're looking to sacrifice, but I can always target it first. Will you sacrifice first? Nope. Because their goal here, if you don't know, is to block and then sacrifice. But I'm not going to let them. And 2 constructs. We tap this down, so they're forced to do it now. Now, don't get it wrong. They're going to be at like 25-ish some life, or 30-ish some life. So I don't realistically have a way to do it, but they also kind of have to kill me next turn. Just activate for 3. It's like fine. They go to 30. We put them down to 10. I think I just want to set this up to while I'm at it. Farewell or anything is not possible here. We get rid of this. We make more constructs on the back end, and then I hit for 22. So we would have been short regardless of what happened there. And now next turn we'll be able to draw a ton of cards if need be. But do you have it this turn, opponent? We are at 15. You're pretty close to within range. They start off with the Nissa. They play a basic land. There's the Analyst. All right, everybody, put your sleeping mask on. We have to watch them combo for about 25 minutes. Play spelunking. Probably skipped ahead here, just kind of being like, hey, here's the play happening. Obviously, we don't need to see them fetch everything out, but spelunking comes in, which is pretty good. The only problem is I don't think they have a way to deal with my stuff. Ill-time explosion is not going to get there. They have memory to lose, and this is what I was talking about. I don't think they have a way to win. Even though it's scary and sometimes like playing through it's going to be annoying, and you're like, the obvious urge to just want to concede because it's like, of course they're going to start comboing, but all they did was put lands in play, gain a little life, and then memory delusion, concede. It's fine, you know, is what it is. But we stick it out. So far we're running really well, and I like that. My opponent goes first and I have removal, and if my opponent goes first and I have this removal, they're aggro and I will not be told otherwise. Correct? Hey, let's go. Scamper, that kind of sucks. Okay, I have a march to pitch. I will pitch this to make sure I'm not getting shot for a ton off the scamper here. Mono is fine, I guess. I'm not a fan of Mono, but like, it's also fine. Maybe playing around cut down. Sure. I'll take my one, dude. If you want to proliferate, go for it. I didn't figure. Alright. I'm going to go ahead because it looks like black and white's where I want to be. This blue land I don't ever really want to have to tap for a colored mana. I'll end turn. Obviously I could play this here, but I think that makes us way more vulnerable. Just like no reason to even do that. Also keeping it so I can pitch if they play a slick shot here. The slick shot's obviously really dangerous. No way to protect it, but they could still reveal green. But I don't think they're going to be playing green for protection spells. At least not right now. Guess what's really cool about this turn, team? I get to long goodbye that, and long goodbye is uncounterable. So I can remove that without paying the ward cost. They probably feel pretty good. They probably think this face down card is pretty solid. But me putting the one of long goodbye into my deck is going to turn out very well. Wow, not even trying to stick it on that. I figured they would. I was hoping to blow it out, but they kind of sneak away from it, which is kind of funny. Sure. Let's see it. Let us see it. We're going to march this if we get the option, and then we are going to go for the third, the Kamano, if we get the option. Sure, I guess. Are you just doing nothing for like ever? Try to bait them, I guess. One white mana and I play with fire. They go to the bottom. Very cool. Yep. Would you like to sacrifice that? I say I doubt it, but hey man, you never know. And Gonjo is pretty cool here. I mean, I guess this is one mana, right? So actually March works here now. I was like, man, I don't want to play this because I don't really want to pitch this card if I don't have to. They're like, wait, they're not Esper control? What is that? Oh, but bro, you're hitting more lands than me at this point. Submit 0. Exile. Sorry, opponent. It's got to be this way. Very cool. I mean, you couldn't have written up a better hand. And this is... I'm actually glad this happened because this is a primary game that I'm talking about. I probably bring it up in the intro. I'll definitely be talking about it in the outro. But this is a primary game of what I was talking about, where Azorius Artifacts has a very tough time winning these games because we just have to get to this. Like, our hands look no good against like any of this nonsense, but instead we just play removal and we live to the point that we're like, okay, I guess I'll play this, draw cards. We were at 14 and only because we allowed ourselves to go to 14. We definitely could have removed them earlier, but we were trying to blow out as many cards as we could, so it worked out better for us. Either way, move on to the next one. Go first. Synthesizer not online. This seems questionable. This seems eh. If I don't find a land, I feel really bad. But if I do find a land, this hand seems pretty solid. I'm gonna, just for testing, do I keep this? I guess so, because like sometimes you're just gonna get clunky hands like this against maybe like a mono black discard deck. I kind of want to see how it plays. Boros. Right on time, huh? Ooh, brutal. I'm gonna give it one turn, I guess, because I want to get this down, because I want to be able to get the synthesizer down. I've noticed a lot of times in this matchup that synthesizer matters a ton. Also, I guess I kind of want to play the Foundry too, because I want to get to the unstable glyph bridge at this point. If I make it though, that's the big concern. They leave on top, I'm probably shooting the Warden. They go to bottom. I guess with second Foundry draw, I just played a glyph bridge. And I just say, you get this turn, go crazy. We want them to go as crazy as they possibly can here without playing an Midrange Recruiter. We just want them to play creature, 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 do everything they can. And then I'm playing a glyph bridge, or if I'm drawing a land, I might fare well and just exile everything. But I would love to play a glyph bridge first if I can. But yeah, just knight here, grab some creatures, you know. Okay, Packle's kind of annoying because Packle's pretty good here. No scry from our opponent. That's interesting. I could fare well, but I also think it's fine if I just... Actually, I can't farewell. These don't work with farewell. Duh. So I guess it's glyph bridge season. And I will keep this gnome. And the reason we keep the gnome is because gnome cannot trigger Packle. So if they go Packle again, attack with the gnome, it will not trigger this, which is very interesting. And whenever you attack with one or more non-gnome creatures. So if you were curious which one to keep there, well, I think we answered the question. Oh no. Pest control is actually sick here. Wow, just drawing pretty good cards after good cards. Let us get this down. And I think I'm just looking to go for the throw this on their turn. Second pest control and a... I guess second pest control goes, right? Because I don't necessarily need... I'm hoping after I pest control them on this following turn. I'm going to do it on their upkeep, though. I'm going to shoot this. I don't want their bat to be able to attack, but I also don't want them to be able to convoke this. Now, they can convoke their bat, I guess, but... This is way less damage I have to deal with here. And then we can pest control and destroy them. One or less. And now also these commit that mana cost. Sure. I think we're going to see a knight here. Yeah. Oh, they do all 5. They actually commit. Oh, well, that kind of sucks. Play it now, please. You have 0 reason to play that right now. Like, please don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Oh, boy. Well. Interesting spot. One that I don't like very well. We're gonna do this. Why? Because if they cast a spell, they can't attack me, and their turn is not looking that great if they cast a spell. This also makes a construct, so I'm kind of starting to build a wall here. They could case me, but then they still can't attack me. Now, obviously, pest control works a little bit worse for me, because then I lose my 4/4, but like if I can use this 4/4 to trade off this, I feel great. Yeah, so no attacks here. Ah, don't give him a symbol, opponent. Arena, come on now. We don't need to give him any details. All right, well, if this is the case, let us just start building. I'm gonna put him -4, -4, or -5, -5 on that knight over there. relying heavily on the fact that this is in play. Maybe a little too heavy, but I think it's reasonable too. I'm gonna make another construct. Our constructs are looking good. This is just to cycle here. We have to remember that the other pest control has been put on bottom, so if I let this one go at any point, they are gone. Another reinforcements. Sure, keep committing. Exactly what we want here. Even okay if, like, farewell ends up becoming kind of what we do. We do have to find a couple of lands, though. For the case, looking to get rid of this, I have to assume. But no attacks here. Sure. Yeah, I think it's dead. I think you got it. Sure. Actually, think I want to draw a land here. Second 3 steps ahead. I mean, I guess I'll leave 3 power in play if I do that. Oh no, look how mad I am. I'm going to attack. Because I feel like this is the Emidanes. I actually don't have a second blue for these. Why are we tanking here? I was hoping they'd be like very loose with it and block with those. Kind of what we were hoping for. Yeah. We are losing mana by the dozens. But we got to do what we got to do, you know? And this wasn't cast, so it doesn't blow up anything. If you're curious why that's not happening. But at least we could have put a 4/4 in the way. And then we can have 3 steps ahead, start copying some stuff. He could attack to turn the case on. That would make sense to me. They're looking to draw. So maybe that card on the last card is not Emidane's, but I feel like it has to be, right? So they turn their case on. Sure. There's a draw. We don't mind that. Now, I'm looking to 3 steps ahead copy some stuff now. Just to copy a synthesizer, and then we'll scry 2. We'll make another construct. Probably be able to eat anything that they put into play here. That's good. That is good. That I cannot stop regardless. Ooh, they feel a tricky play coming and they don't attack. Probably like, I knew that, dude. Long goodbye, Odawara, huh? They have a cavern. Is long goodbye good enough? Not sure. I'm just not sure. I don't think so. I'm gonna let it go. Land? Not good enough. We play this. Now I could flip this. So I'll make 2 more constructs. But I think honestly just 3 steps ahead and doing the same thing I've been doing. And potentially just countering an Emidane's if they do something goofy with their cavern. Like play, I don't know, an inspector off of it. And then Emidane's, which would be like a very loose play, but also with 3 steps ahead, if I make another synthesizer, I get another scry 2, I make 2 constructs, and we are definitely looking to barrel in lethal if they just attack me out. I get to take on 4 creatures here. I can't imagine any 3 creatures getting through would be lethal. The only thing I can think of is, I mean, that's pretty good. We're gonna scry here. Pace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Funny how this works, but let us make sure that never dies. All the way up, captains. Sure, why not? I like synthesizer. What would a bigger army be without more constructs? If you scry, it's not good. Don't do it. You don't wanna. I say because you now have to block. Not like you're given much of a choice here. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you don't. Trying here doesn't do much. Opponent goes first. We have 3 fast lands and a deserted beach. I mean, his hand's kind of curving out pretty well. I think we keep. I like how it puts us 3 steps ahead, like it's a 1 mana spell. Definitely not. All right, time to get deep cavern batted. Go it up. Oh, you draw. Man, these players withdrawing with Mosswood right away. We're gonna have to teach them one of these days. If you keep a 7 and you draw with Mosswood right away, a lot of times, you know, it's on you. You know what's really cool here, though? Knowing that, like, cut down doesn't remove this, and neither does go for the throat, and I can just block this for free. Now, obviously, they could play Long Goodbye, Parasunder, plenty of things, a Sentinel, or go for the throating that. Yes, please. Thank you. Oh, well, I mean, okay, that can answer it. Sure. Now they're kind of forced to cycle that next turn, which is pretty fine with me. Lift Bridge is pretty solid in general. So here, I kind of want to play this to make my tokens bigger, because then once I play this, I'm looking good. And if they play something, I can also make a copy of this, right? Yeah, so this is fine. This card's actually grown on me a lot. I only play 1 right now. My opponent's currently reading it. You can see them highlighting it, because, like, I mean, I gotta read it half the time too. But this card's grown on me. The fact that I can just copy tokens is really nice. So, like, there, I'm just gonna use my mana and do this. Then right away I get this. Now I get to go kind of accelerate my mana, which is all I wanted to do here anyway. And the reason I'm okay with this play is because Thousand Moon Smithy now should be able to tap things down pretty easily. They play another creature. They do this. Obviously, I throw a block because it's just free to. I could also just Glyph Bridge here. And then hold up a counter spell. I like that. Because then my Thran Spider stays. Yep. Most of the time this matchup's pretty easy as long as we do find a synthesizer eventually. But obviously that's the hard part most times. Like, I don't care about this card draw. They can go all day with this card draw. They don't play something like Farewell. The only card I'm really worried about is Anissa, and I'd much rather counter it. Like, even this, I'm just going to go for the throat. This counterspell, I feel like I just want to draw a card, to be honest. Pop it. This is a great way to find it, I can tell you that much. We'll set this in. We'll set this in. Make our construct. Now we're moving to combat. We're hitting for a lot. Braided Net's only being available in terms of tapping something. We can't flip it quite yet. And all we're looking to do is flip it, and then if they put a shielded on the stack, we're looking to draw a ton of cards pretty much. Sure, go for it. Reload the board. I have much bigger threats. Yes. That's pretty good. That is a hard one for me to deal with, but I will hold up Counterspell. Not even that hard one for me to deal with, now that I think about it. Like, I just don't care. I just kill him here. Not wild. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I could tap this, right? Could I just go for the throat this? Yeah. Play here. Do this. I hope this works because I'm actually really didn't do the math. And you both make a token, and then I do this. And with 1 green or black mana, I don't think you have enough to stop me. And I have exactly lethal. Very sick. On to the outro. Okay, so we approach with an interesting brew, and realistically, the main thing... Oh my, look at my lands! Why is it such a long list? I have 26 lands in the deck, and it's like... No 4-ofs. Nothing. We don't want a single land being consistent. I just looked at that, I was like, holy, bro, that's so many lands. But, what was I saying? Yeah, so... We are here with Esper artifacts. The only thing I would change, by the way, right out the gate, as good as these are, or as good as pest control is, I think I would play the 2 mana artifact, the colorless one. Let me see if I can't find it real quick. I know I'm wasting everybody's time right now. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Where are you at? Here. I'd probably put the Iron Crag in over maybe 1 copy of the Foundry or maybe over a Pest Control. Just because this can be used to cast the 3 steps ahead, to cut, no, I guess not cut down, but March, go for the throw, long goodbyes, things like that. Like this mana can actually be used for things outside of just artifacts, where Foundry does find itself a little bit limited, but it's a very hard line to toe with Foundry because you want it on the fact that like, if we play a Mightstone, play another one, we can then sack it again and then do another Mightstone, Weakstone. And that's like either minus 15/15 overall on some things, or like drawing 6 and then making a lot of tokens. So it's a very weird fine line to do. So I definitely would consider maybe playing one of these. But outside of that, what do we like? I liked how I basically took a matchup that was very, very hard for us to win and gave ourselves a screaming chance. You know, because it always sucks when you queue up against red, they're on the play, and you're playing this deck, and your turn was turn 2 Foundry, play a Synthesizer, hope I don't die, play Artifact, make it a Construct, is that good? And then they remove it because the Construct's only like a 3/3 or a 4/4, so then Witchstalker Frenzy gets it out of the way. But here, we are willing to trim down on some artifacts, because the craft mechanic does kind of help make up for it, right? These craft mechanics, and we have like Thread Spider making a ton of artifacts. We have the Helm, which I also liked it a lot. You might be able to also put in as a 2-of at some point. I think my headphones just died. Either way. But you might be able to play this as a 2-of. This card continues to impress me a lot because it does copy construct tokens. And I know that seems like, well, that should be obvious, right? Like that should be an obvious put in. I just didn't know, because how often I felt like I was going to be able to activate this bottom mode was a very small amount. And the main reason was just because I was like, man, aggro is so fast. I can't keep up with aggro. Like I can't put another 3-drop in my deck. It just doesn't do anything. So I was trying No More Lies. I was trying all these other things. I was trying to populate temporary lockdowns and do other things. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to add black to the deck. Even though we don't really get like any solid black artifacts that are necessarily that great, I do get the best removal in the game. The one that doesn't get my opponent value, one that just cleanly removes threats I can't answer. Like sometimes even Shieldred's hard for us to answer because we draw too many cards. But like, I'm just going to play Cut Down to stop red from being so fast, or I'm going to play Go for the Throws to remove the big threats. Long Goodbye came in clutch for us one time against red where they thought they were solid, and then we removed the creature without paying the ward. And I think we saw in a couple of games where this removal package has helped us out a ton. And I don't think we necessarily hurt our other matchups that badly. Like Control would be arguably the only one that we hurt, but realistically, if they just play enough counterspells, we're probably in a trouble spot anyway, because they know all they really have to deal with is the Synthesizer, and then because all this bottom half becomes dead unless the Foundry resolved, and then like we can get some artifacts in, getting the Synthesizers back in, and have to grind out that entire game, which is definitely tough to do, but it's just like 45-minute games, and it's not that entertaining, at least for me to play. So if I'm not having fun with the match, it's probably not that exciting to watch. But other than that, I mean, rating that, we have a 2-of Unstable Glyph Bridge. We have a 3-of instead of playing Sunfalls like we have been. I just opted to play more artifacts that I can flip and trigger the Synthesizer. So realistically, we are looking at 20 overall artifacts. I don't know how Power Stone counts as 3 of those from 3 spiders, but I think that's why. Not necessarily 1, but that gets made up for because 3 steps ahead could technically be 3 artifacts. We actually had to do that in one of our matchups. This counts for synthesizer. Obviously, they count for themselves. And then this counts, and this counts, and this counts, and these count, and then these count. So we actually do tend to play a lot more artifacts. Adding the black didn't necessarily take away from our game plan too much. So I enjoyed it. And I liked it a lot. And we get to play pest control. I would argue if you're looking to craft something, like maybe you've been playing this list for a while and you're like, you know what, I'll give this deck list a chance. You could probably just play 1 pest control. I understand mythics are a little bit hard to come by, as you could tell, like in my corner, especially this set. I have 26 rares, no mythics. You just use them all. Like, the big score is really good, and just out of it alone, if you look in this deck, I have 6 mythics in here from that set alone. 7, I lied. I'm a liar. We have 7 mythics in here alone. Other than that, is everything else a rare or common uncommon? That's kind of funny. All my mythics are from the same exact set, and it happens to be the newest one. So I definitely recommend maybe only crafting 1 of this and just play like another removal spell, whether it's another March, cut down, maybe like your 4th Go for the Throat, or just playing the 4 Foundry if you want to, or Thran Spider. There's a lot of options you can use instead of this pest control. But it is nice when you do play against Boros to kind of just have this in the back pocket, because you don't really care to sacrifice 1 of your constructs if that means killing 7 creatures with pest control, you know? And this could also go back to, like, maybe we're supposed to play Path of Peril, but at the end of the day, they all wipe out our constructs, so it doesn't really matter. So I wanted to give this a try. You could argue cutting it, but, you know, your game, your life, your rares, mythics, wild cards. So do what you want with them. Final thing is, I do play a Farewell. We didn't use it today. I personally like playing Farewell as a one-of catch-up card against, like, Domain. Domain's not that popular, at least right now, but nothing feels better when they kind of have 3 leyline bindings and they put, like, a big board out, and they obviously don't really play counterspells that often, and you're just like, I will cast a Farewell, I will exile all those, I will make a ton of constructs and everything, and I will pass my turn. Can you answer it? No? Okay, great. If you can, even better for us, I'll hit the concede button. You know, we got to do what we got to do. Outside of that, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.